Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of the Onimusha HD edition. I played it on the Xbox One, but it's also available on the PS4, PC, and the Switch. So the story of Onimusha goes you play as Semonosuke Akechi during the rise of Nobunaga Oda. And early on he is killed, but you find out that he's been resurrected by the demons, and well, it's your job to try and stop the demon clan. You are aided by the Ogre clan, and you are given a gauntlet that allows you to absorb the souls of dead demons and power up your weapons. I gotta say, I liked the setting of this game. I always liked the feudal Japan, and once upon a time, this was one of the few good or better samurai games, so I really enjoyed that aspect. That being said, while the story has aged well, the script has not. Which then bleeds into the audio. Not only has the script not aged fantastically, neither has the voiceover work. A lot of the voiceover work is just straight up bad, but this was also PS2 era, so that's not that unexpected. It's just, wow, it aged really badly. As for the sound effects and music, I think those worked well. The sound effects were obviously a little bit limited, but the music was fantastic and worked very well in the game. As for the gameplay, it is a third-person, fixed-camera action game. And by fixed camera, I mean they are fixed in certain angles throughout each area of the map. There are 3 different melee weapons, each has an elemental magic that can go with it. Then you also have 2 ranged weapons as well. There are also certain sections where you play as Semonosuke's partner, Kaede, and I was really annoyed at first, but then I remembered as I discovered it, you get some upgrades for her, which makes it much easier. But it is very much a combat-heavy game, and the combat is very rudimentary. It hasn't aged well in modern times. But I think that also ties a bit into the controls, which I'll get into in a minute. So I mentioned earlier that you get a gauntlet that allows you to absorb demon souls and upgrade your weapons. It also allows you to upgrade your magic, which is neat, but I forgot how little of that there really is in the first game. There's a small level-by-level arena in this game as well, but that's purely combat-focused. There's a few other mini-games that you can unlock. But that all being said, it's actually an incredibly short game. I, in fact, forgot how short this game was, but I flew through it a couple times in the week that I've been playing. As for the controls, the first thing I will say that I liked is they mapped the free controls, which they added to this game, to the joystick. Which may sound a little weird, but considering when this game was launched, it had the tank controls. The free controls were kind of nice, but they were far from perfect. I ended up using a combination of the free movement and the tank movement because, well, it just works better that way overall with the new system. That could also be because I was playing on the Xbox. The tank controls may have worked considerably better on like a PS4 controller, but where the D-pad is and the size of the D-pad on the Xbox controller doesn't really lend itself well to tank controls. Another thing I liked is that when you're using the free controls, you don't have to specifically lock onto an enemy to properly attack, so I enjoyed that, but that being said, you can still lock on as necessary. But again, it's poorly done because they mapped the lock on and block buttons to the LB and RB buttons, which just aren't comfortable for extended use. And while I found that the controls were for the most part very responsive and worked pretty well, I mean, the free movement was ugh. But as far as responsiveness, I didn't have any real problems. And then graphics. This game has not aged well graphically. They didn't really do anything other than up the resolution and, you know, clean up the image. But from a graphics standpoint, they haven't updated that. This is really just an HD port of the game. This was even back when they were doing pre-rendered backgrounds, so it looked more like you were walking on top of a photograph than actually walking in the world. That being said, I do love the design of the world. I love the Japanese aesthetic. I love the feudal aesthetic. I like the way the demons look. But this game really could have used basically the full overhaul. Even the cinematics have not aged well. This is like back when Capcom and Square Enix were the guys to go to. They always had the best cinematics. But the cinematics from Onimusha, by today's standards, look really bad. So to wrap this up, I think it was a neat idea giving us an HD re-release of Onimusha, and myself as a big Onimusha fan, I'm perfectly happy to stumble through poorly aged mechanics and the poorly aged graphics. but I think they could have done a lot more to make this better and update this a bit for the modern generation. I feel like the fixed camera was fine, but the free controls didn't work great with it. Had they cleaned those up and made those better, that would have been another story. By work better, I mean smoother. While they are very responsive, it's just not a smooth movement system, and it doesn't lend itself well to the combat. Also, visually speaking, yes, it's up resolution, that's wonderful, but I would have liked to see them actually redo the graphics. While there is replayability to it, I am glad it was only $20 because much more than that, and I don't think I could actually recommend this even to hardcore fans like myself. Which, to put it simply, unless you are an old school fan of the Onimusha games, then you don't have any need to play this because, quite frankly, it has aged so very poorly. Okay, so in the comments below, why don't you tell me what is your favorite Onimusha game? And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share, subscribe. Have a good one.